Today we'll be looking at 5 different exercises that fall under the category of Olympics and Olympic derivatives. We'll be looking at the clean pull, the high pull, the hang clean, the split jerk, and the push press. The main thing we're looking with these exercises is they're all power-based movements that require a ability to be fast in the extension of the hips, knees, and as well as ankles. And there is a little more extra with the shrugging as well as being able to press up. So there are some differences there, but the main thing is being able to be powerful via extension and also quick via flexion when essentially catching the bar or getting underneath the bar itself. So looking at the clean pull exercise, the main thing we're looking for here is maximal extension via what's known as triple extension of the hips, knees, and ankles, as well as the addition of a shrug at the very top. The main thing we're looking for is for the athlete to be able to jump as high as they can and be able to land in a slightly flexed position. A couple errors we want to look out for is essentially the bar itself. The path should be in a straight vertical line. If the bar moves away from the athlete, or if they land not exactly where they started, their landing position is different in relation to where they started, then those are a couple things we'll see that the synchronicity of the extension via the hips and knees are not accurate, and those are things that we need to be able to work on. Now looking at the high pull, it's essentially the exact same thing as the clean pull. We're still looking for that maximal extension via the jump, but now we're adding a little bit of the concept of energy transfer, of being able to extend the hips, shrug, but then also now we're pulling the elbows up, essentially bringing the bar to the chest level. So being able to create that idea of transferring the energy from the hips to the shrugging of the shoulders to now bringing the elbows up. There won't be as high of a jump, so the ability to get maximal extension through a jump may not happen, but there's still that same concept that we're looking of. You want max extension, but the main focus is that energy transfer of bringing the shoulders up. A couple things we're looking at in terms of errors is the bar either going too high up or the athlete focusing too much on the elbows, and so they're not really jumping or maximally extending. We also want to make sure that when that bar comes up, we go about chest level and that we bring the elbows back and we're not bringing them too high to where our wrist is higher than the actual elbows themselves. Now looking at the hang clean, which is the complete exercise, the main focus here is, again, adding with the clean pull and high pull. We're going through that coordinated pattern of both those exercises, but now we're bringing the elbows up and essentially what's known as catching the bar, which the main difference here is we're working that hip cycle of extension all the way to flexion. So being able to extend maximally, jumping up, bringing the elbows up, but that bar at chest level, and then immediately dropping where now our elbows shoot up and they're more in a horizontal pattern, but we're also able to flex the hips and knees so that we're able to catch the bar, because as the weight progresses and gets heavier, the bar is not going to go up as high and the athlete's going to have to learn how to drop a lot quicker. So we really want to focus on a fast flexion at the bottom to be able to catch the bar. A couple things that we're looking at in terms of issues will be again, synchronicity of the extension, the flexion just not being there, slow flexion speed, which will make it harder for the athlete to catch the bar, or they may not even do maximal extension because of that slow speed. So then you'll see where they'll hit the bar and extend, but then you'll see their hips will be very back, so not a full extension, and then the bar doesn't really go up that high. So there's going to be a loss of energy, whether it's through the extension of the hips or whether it's going to be the elbows coming up. But there's some kind of energy loss because since they're so slow at being able to catch on the bar and go under through flexion, they're not going to do maximum extension. So you're going to see a little bit of issues, especially as the weight itself starts going higher and higher. Now looking at the split jerk, we're looking at the same thing of maximal extension to a dropping through flexion. But this time now the bar is at the shoulders and we're pressing overhead. The only other difference we have is it being a split stance position. The front leg, whichever is chosen, is going to have a fast hip flexion to be able to shoot out to the front, essentially allowing a staggered stance or split stance position to catch the bar. Again, we're looking at once the bar and the weight gets heavy, it may not go that high. So the athlete is going to have to be able to drop extremely low. So we have a slight dip, then the extension where the athlete essentially jumps off the ground. They push the bar up, but then their either right foot or left foot has to shoot forward fast to be able to catch, while the other foot pushes back to be in a staggered stance position to be able to catch the bar. You as an athlete want to be able to train both sides because of the simple fact that when you're running, when you're doing any kind of exercise that requires, some type of hip flexion speed, both hip flexors need to have that quick, fast reaction and power to be able to go forward. And lastly, for the push press, same concept. We want max power via extension with a dropping or catching the bar through flexion, but we're pressing the bar overhead and our feet are in a bilateral squat based position. So there's a slight dip, extend, push the weight up, catch in a slight flexion, and then be able to stand up.